Hey everybody, it's Robin and welcome to the Robin's Nest. 2021 is finally here. Happy New Year. We've wrapped up 2020 and to start this new year off right, I wanted to make another sweet little cake for you using the half wrap technique. Now I want this cake to be really simple and elegant, so we're going to be decorating it using some sweet little hand-piped roses and some gold accents. It's going to be beautiful. So let's get into it. So for today's cake I baked up 3 6-inch vanilla cake layers, which we need to level out before we can start stacking and filling them. So I'm just going to take my cake leveler, which I've already preset to my desired height, and we're just going to trim these down and level them out. And you can discard your cake tops if you wish, or you can save them for cake pops, because personally I think good cake should never be wasted. So we're just about ready to start stacking and filling our cake, but first we need to mix up a few icing colors. So we're going to be making a little bit of pink, a little bit of red, and a little bit of green, and we're also going to be saving a whole bunch of white as well. So we're going to start with our pink, and I'm also going to be adding a little bit of this strawberry candy flavoring by Lorraine Oils, which is not sponsored by the way, I just really like it, it's so good. So we're just going to add a nice big scoop to our bowl, maybe 2 scoops actually for each layer of our cake we need to fill. So it'll be 4 scoops all together. We're just going to add a little bit of pink icing and a couple of drops of our strawberry flavoring because it is quite strong, you don't need very much. And then we're going to mix that up really well and move on to our next 2 colors. So I finished mixing up my icing colors and I've set my red and my green to the side. We're going to give them a little bit of time to process because we want our red to get nice and bright. So we're going to start with our pink, which I flavored with some strawberry icing. We're going to use a little bit of this to attach our first layer of cake. I'm going to give this a little press down and that's going to act as glue to hold your cake into place. Now we're going to take the rest of our strawberry icing and we're going to use this to fill our layers. Okay, so our cake has had some time to chill and it's firmed up nicely, so we can now proceed with our crumb coat. So I'm going to grab my big tub of white icing, and this is just vanilla. We're going to use our offset spatula, and you can use a large one or a small one, whichever you're more comfortable with. And we're going to do a nice thin crumb coat to seal in all these crumbs. And there we go, I think that looks pretty good. So now we're going to pop this in the fridge to chill to allow it to firm up and fully crust over before we add any more layers of icing. And while we're waiting, we're going to make some roses. So I know there are a lot of people who are intimidated by making buttercream flowers, but these roses really are so simple and you just need a few simple things. So firstly, you're going to need your favorite piping bags. And I'm just using some disposable ones here. And next you're going to need a petal piping tip, and this is an Atco number 104, and it just has a little teardrop shape there. Next, you're going to need a flower nail, a few square sheets of parchment, and lastly, your icing color of choice. So the first thing we need to do is fill up our icing bag. So we're just going to put a couple of small scoops in here. You don't want to overfill it because the more you have in it, the more trouble you're going to have. You want to have a good control with your hand and you just need a little bit for that. So we're just going to put in a couple of scoops and then we can start piping our roses. Alright, so to prepare, the first thing we're going to do is take our flower nail and we're going to apply a little tiny dab of icing right in the center, and we're going to attach a little piece of parchment paper. Oops. Give that a little press, make it stick. Now the first step of the flower, you're going to want to pipe a little mound of icing in the center here. Just like that. Now in one swift motion, we're going to take our piping bag, and with our piping tip with the fat side at the bottom, we're going to use our left hand to spin the nail and go all the way around in one motion. Just like that. Now for each individual petal, this is a little bit different. You're going to take your piping bag and hold it the same way as before, and you're going to apply gentle pressure once again, but you're going to do a small little swift swooping motion for each individual petal. And your next petal, you're going to want to overlap it a little bit. So you're going to start just behind where you finished. And you're going to lift up and swoop down as you go. And then you're just going to repeat that until it's the size that you're happy with. And voila, there's our first rose. Now I'm going to make a whole bunch more. Even though I'm not going to use a whole bunch, I'm just going to take the best ones, and I want to have some extra in case I mess them up. So we're going to take this first one off and set it down, make a few more. And there we go. Now once you're finished and you're happy with how your roses look, you can go ahead and let these set out and dry just like this. This is a crusting buttercream, so they will firm up if you have time to wait. But if you need these to set up in a hurry, you can go ahead and pop these in the freezer to chill. Now what I like to do is just pop them in, set them and forget them until you're ready to put them on your cake. So I'm going to pop these in now, and when we come back, we're going to add another layer of icing to our cake. So for this next coat of icing, we're going to come back in with our white vanilla American buttercream, and we're going to use our offset spatula to apply a nice generous coat all over our entire cake. Then I'm going to come in with my favorite plastic bench scraper, and we're going to get this as smooth as we possibly can. Alright, I think that's about as smooth as I'm going to get this. So we're going to get this back into the freezer to chill for about another 10 or 15 minutes and allow it to crust over. And when we come back, we're going to add our half wrap icing layer. Alright, time for our final coat of icing, and this one is going to be our half wrapped layer of icing. So what we're going to do is very similar to a fondant cake, except it's a little bit easier because we don't have to do the top portion. So what we're going to do is apply a small amount of icing around the base of our cake. Then we're going to smooth it out using our bench scraper, leaving a nice smooth surface behind with sort of a ripped looking edge, giving it that half wrapped look. Okay, now it's back to the fridge with this for just a few minutes, and then we can add our final decor. Okay, so our cake is now set and it's time to add our flower. So the first thing we're going to do is decide which side we want to be the front of our cake. And once we figure that out, then we're going to decide where we want our flowers to be. And once we figure that out, we're going to take our piping bag with our red icing, and we're going to put a little dollop of icing on the top of the cake where we want each flower to sit. And now using a tiny little fondant spatula, I'm just going to transfer my rose from the parchment paper to the cake. Voila! And now using a Wilton number 352 piping tip, and this is the leaf piping tip, the little notch in it, we're going to pipe some little rose leaves. And we're going to use a slight jerking motion while we do it, so it gives kind of a jagged effect on the edge of the leaves. Well, here it is, guys, and I just love it. I think it turned out so beautiful. It's a great first cake to kick off the new year, and just the first of so many to come all year long. Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Hit that big thumbs up button and leave me lots of love in the comment section too. And if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you receive a notification every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy New Year!